A very good morning. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. I'm Smriti Rastogi with breakfast news. In the next half an hour, we will get you all the news from national, international, business and sports front. But before that, a quick look at the top headlines. Flood situation grim in Bihar, Assam and Uttar Pradesh. Death toll crosses 150 in Bihar. Red Cross says 11 million affected across the country. India too continue to engage with China to find mutually acceptable solution to the Doklam standoff. Japan backs India's stand, says should be no attempt to change status quo. No headway in much talked about merger of two AIA-DMK factions. Ticklish issues pose hurdles despite marathon deliberations well into Friday night. Vishal Sikka resigns as Chief Executive Officer of Infosys. This follows months of acrimony with high-profile founders led by N.R. Narayan Murthy. And key suspect in Barcelona attack reported to have been killed in a shootout. 4 other suspects arrested. Spain observing 3 days national mourning. The flood situation in Assam, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and several other parts of the country has worsened due to incessant rains, with lakhs of people being affected. At least 153 people died in Bihar, whereas 52 died in West Bengal. NDRF, SDRF and Army have been pressed into service to evacuate those stranded. Unprecedented heavy rains have unleashed floods, wreaking havoc in Bihar, West Bengal, Assam and several parts of the country. In Bihar, the flood situation has further deteriorated. At least 153 people have lost their lives and around 1.08 crore people have been hit in around 17 districts. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar reviewed the flood situation and gave necessary instructions to the officials. Indian Army and the teams of NDRF and SDRF have stepped up for rescue operations. The Met Department, however, said Patna, Gaya, Bhagalpur and Purania are likely to witness rain or thunder showers today.
रिलीफ पहुंचाने में दिक्कत हो रही है कि जो रास्ते हैं वो कई जगह कट गए हैं और पानी इस बार काफी जल्दी आ गया है। फिर भी हम लोगों ने वहां पर जो एसडीआरएफ की टीम थी उसको पहले ही हम लोगों ने पहुंचा दिया था, तो उसकी वजह से भी हमको इस बात की राहत है कि हमारे रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशंस ठीक से चल रहे हैं और स्थानीय बाजार से जो भी सामग्री कर करके लोगों का जो राहत शिविर है वो हम लोगों ने चालू कर दिया है। मनिहारी बाजार से भी हम लोग सामग्री भेज रहे हैं और बहुत जल्द हम लोग ट्रेन के माध्यम से भी वहां पर सामान भेजने।
The flood situation in Bengal improved with water levels of all major rivers receding, though the toll rose to 52. West Bengal Panchayat Minister Subrata Mukherjee said roads and pipelines for supplying drinking water have been badly damaged in the calamity. Nearly 15 lakh people have been affected. About 789 relief camps have been set up and more than 3 lakh people have taken shelter. Meanwhile, train and bus services remain suspended on the 6th consecutive day.
पूरा पानी घुस गया है, कोई रहने के लिए कोई जगह ही नहीं है। कोई स्कूल में जगह लिया है तो स्कूल के कोई छत के ऊपर में रह रहा है, कोई मचाना करके रह रहा है। प्रशासन का तरफ से कोई ही नहीं आ रहा है हम लोग का इधर, जो कोई हेल्प हो या और कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है।
In Assam, the third wave of floods has so far claimed the lives of 60 persons across the state. With these, the toll went up to 144, including 8 in Guwahati. As per the Assam State Disaster Management Authority, 25.93 lakh people have been affected in the state. As per the reports, Brahmaputra River was flowing above the danger mark. The second wave of floods has also inundated 80% of the 481 square kilometer area of the Kaziranga National Park and claimed the lives of many animals.
ये पवित्रा में ये सेकेंड वेव है बांध का, तो बाढ़ में मतलब 80% जैसा हम लोग का सबमर्ज हो गया। तो इसमें अभी तक तो हम लोग का जानवर का कोई नुकसान नहीं हुआ है। तो ऐसे तो बाढ़ में थोड़ा बहुत तो मुश्किलें आते हैं यहाँ पर। हम लोग का अभी पूरा टोटल एरिया जितने हैं हम लोग का 18 कैंप्स है, सबमर्ज हो गया है।
The flood situation has worsened in several parts of Uttar Pradesh following continuous rains. The district administration has sought the help of the army in relief and rescue operations. Districts adjoining Nepal are among the worst affected. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath conducted an aerial survey of the flood-hit areas and ordered the local administration to provide immediate help to those affected.
किसी पीड़ित का घर आपदा की चपेट में आता है, पक्का घर टूटता है या कच्चा घर टूटता है, उसके लिए भी जो अनमन्य सहायता है, आपदा में जनहानि होने पर भी जो सहायता पीड़ित परिवारों को प्राप्त होनी चाहिए, वह तत्काल उपलब्ध कराने की व्यवस्था की जानी चाहिए। साथ ही पर्याप्त मात्रा में खाद्यान्न जहां पीड़ित परिवारों को मिलना चाहिए।
According to the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, over 16 million people have been affected by monsoon flooding across India, Nepal and Bangladesh, with more than 400 deaths in the three countries. As per the India's Meteorological Department, heavy rains have been forecast for the region in the coming days. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. On to some more news. China is deliberately not stating the amount of water it is releasing into the Indian rivers. This is in direct violation of the agreement between India and China on sharing hydrological data. Shockingly, at a time when Indian states are reeling under heavy floods.
Even as China accuses India of adventurism when it comes to Doklam, Beijing itself hasn't been exactly playing by the rules. Under an agreement it signed with India in 2006, China is obliged to share hydrological data with India on the Satluj and Brahmaputra. According to two MOUs signed in 2013 and 2015, every year China needs to give hydrological data between 15th May to 15th October. But China hasn't shared any data so far this year.
जो hydrological data है on Satluj and Brahmaputra river, that is to be shared by China with us, अवधि के बीच में देना होता है। वो जो है, जो इंटरवल होता है, वो लगातार देना होता है। इसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी भी है, डेली एक दिन में काफ़ी बार देना होता है।
The floods in Assam are directly related to the water flow from China to India. China releases water from various dams to Indian rivers without hindrance. But it needs to tell India how much it's releasing. The data should be shared on a daily basis, often many times a day. But the Chinese action is willful contravention of the agreement.
May, June, July, August, fourth month is on, and it is not a simple thing that China has not shared any hydrological data with us. It is nothing but putting Indian people in danger without declaring confrontation or war. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Prasanto in Delhi.
India has said it will continue to engage with China to find a mutually acceptable solution to the Doklam standoff. The Ministry of External Affairs has said that peace and tranquility on the border is an important prerequisite for smooth bilateral relationship. To a query on the recent incident between Chinese troops and Indian border guards in Ladakh, the MEA spokesperson said that such incidents are not in the interest of either sides. The MEA has said that two border personnel meetings had taken place between Indian border guards and Chinese troops recently. The BPM has taken place at Chushul on Wednesday and another one at Nathula a week before.
We will continue to engage with Chinese side to find a mutually acceptable solution. As we have said in the past, peace and tranquility in border areas is an important prerequisite for a smooth development of bilateral relations.
Meanwhile, Japan on Friday unequivocally backed India in its position on the Doklam border standoff with China. Japan has said there should be no attempt to change the status quo on the ground by force. The backing by Japan is significant as it's a first by a major country.
In a significant act of support for India in its prolonged military standoff with China, Japan has become the first country to openly throw its weight behind New Delhi. In a statement issued on Friday, the Japanese embassy said there should be no attempt to change the status quo on the ground by force. Japanese ambassador to India, Kenji Hiramatsu, said, and I quote, "We recognize Doklam is a disputed area between Bhutan and China, and the two countries are engaged in border talks. We also understand that India has a treaty understanding with Bhutan. That's why the Indian troops got involved in the area." We are watching the situation very closely at Doklam as it has the ability to affect the stability of the entire region. We also believe there should be no attempt by any party to unilaterally change status quo by force, as maintaining it is very important." Unquote.
China is committed under agreements of 1988 and 1998 to respect the status quo as of March 1959. As Bhutan has pointed out, China, through construction of this road, tried to alter the status quo. There are also similar understandings between India and China on not taking recourse to force or threat of use of force to change the status quo. Once again, China is in violation of these understandings. There is very clear consensus in the past between India and China, between China and Bhutan, that all differences should be resolved peacefully. And this is the position India has taken, and China should follow that good advice given by India and Bhutan.
I think it suggests the correlation of forces that are emerging in Asia against China. Because I think so far the equation was there's just India versus China, with Japan now siding very frontally, centrally with India. It complicates, I think, China's politico-military calculus. And also I think this is a follow-on to the 2x2 ministerial forum that's been set up with the United States. Because the United States has a 2x2 forum with Japan. So this is an interesting triangulation, as it were. And it's something that Beijing would have to necessarily consider in terms of deciding what it wants to do.
The endorsement of the Indian position by Japan is a significant development at a regional level, as China has violated agreements with Japan as well. Japan too is engaged with the sovereignty issue with China over the East China Sea. However, China has asked Japan not to make random comments on the border standoff, even if it wants to support New Delhi. Earlier this week, the United States called on India and China to hold a direct dialogue and resolve the issue. The prolonged standoff started in June when India sent troops to stop China building a road in the Doklam area, saying it changes the status quo at the tri-junction of the borders of India, China and Bhutan. India has also offered that both sides withdraw troops to engage in dialogue, but China has refused that option, asking India repeatedly to withdraw from the area. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some more news. Vishal Sikka, the first non-founder CEO of Infosys Limited, has abruptly resigned. 50-year-old Sikka is a former German IT major SAP executive under whose 3-year tenure Infosys revenue rose by about 25%. He did not himself name Infosys founder and ex-chairman N.R. Narayan Murthy directly as the reason for his exit, but said that he faced false, baseless, malicious and increasingly personal attacks. The resignation follows a year-long acrimony between the board, the high-profile founders led by Murthy, who raised issues of poor corporate governance and executive pay, as well as the doubts over the acquisitions. UB Praveen Rao, Infosys Chief Operating Officer, has been named as the interim managing director and CEO. Rao will report to Sikka, who will take on as the executive vice chairman role until the permanent CEO takes charge, which should be no later than the end of March 2018. Meanwhile, Narayan Murthy has said that he did not seek any money, position or children or power, while expressing anguish over the board's allegations that his continuous assault led to Vishal Sikka quitting as the CEO. He said he will reply to the board's allegations in the right manner, right forum and at an appropriate time.
We came to this conclusion and the board proposed that I stay on as executive vice chair to help with the transition and help ensure that the team is well established, that the continuity and in the succession, that the business does not suffer and so forth. And so I am really honored to do that. And so effective today, Praveen is the managing director and CEO on an interim basis.
Mr. Sikka's exit from Infosys is going to affect the sector per se, except yes, for some time there could be some disruption at Infosys. But again, if you look at the other side, in organizations such as Infosys or any organization, the resilience or the strength of an organization is how they manage transitions like these.
And time for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amritanshu Rai and you're watching Law of the Land on Sabha TV.
498A is an offence of cruelty.
498A is a crime which is against the husband and the relatives for cruelty.
If the Supreme Court itself says women are liars.
Watch Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. 12 people have died of swine flu in Gujarat in the last 24 hours, taking the toll in the state to 242 since January this year. According to the state government, 4 deaths each were reported in Ahmedabad and Vadodara city. 1 death each was reported in Ahmedabad district, Mehsana, Gandhinagar city and Patan district. Since January this year, 2,500 patients infected with H1N1 virus were admitted to various hospitals. Chief Minister Vijay Rupani visited civil hospitals in Surat, Rajput, Vadodara and Ahmedabad city to take stock of the swine flu situation. Rupani said that he has requested the centre to send a team of medical experts to suggest steps to prevent the spread of H1N1 virus infection.
सभी सिविल हॉस्पिटल में स्वाइन फ्लू का अलग वार्ड, स्पेशल केयर बनाई हुई है, दवाइयाँ भी मुफ्त दे रहे हैं। टेस्ट के लिए जो लेबोरेटरी में जो केसेस आते हैं उनको भी मुफ्त फ्री ऑफ केस उनको लेबोरेटरी चेकअप भी कर देते हैं। केंद्र की मार्गदर्शन भी हम ले रहे हैं हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट का। आने वाले दिन में उनकी टीम को हम बुला रहे हैं कि वो भी आकर देखें और ज़रूरी जो कुछ हो तो केंद्र भी हमें मार्गदर्शन करे।
लास्ट 24 आवर्स में 24 पेशेंट हमने भर्ती किया है। टोटल हमारे यहाँ 89 पेशेंट भर्ती है और बाकी के जो है हमारे यहाँ पूरी जो प्रिपेयर्डनेस चाहिए वेंटिलेटर से हम लेके पीपी किट दवाइयाँ वो सब हमारे पास है और डॉक्टर का बड़ा खोज हमारे पास है।
परिस्थिति में कोई खास सुधार नहीं है। 15 से 20 पेशेंट न्यू पेशेंट आते हैं सस्पेक्टेड केस के और अभी है तो 89 पेशेंट एडमिटेड है। इसमें से 69 पॉजिटिव है और 20 का रिपोर्ट अवेटेड है।
And now the news from Gujarat, where the battle over the recently held Rajya Sabha elections has reached the doors of the judiciary. The BJP candidate Balwant Singh Rajput, who lost the Rajya Sabha election, has moved the Gujarat High Court against the Election Commission's decision. The decision of the poll body to declare as null votes of legislators who cross-voted has paved the way for the victory of Congress candidate Ahmed Patel, who got 44 votes while Rajput polled 38 votes. The petition has been listed for hearing on August 21st. A discussion was held in New Delhi on Friday on the book Tireless Voice, Relentless Journey, which is a compilation of Vice President Venkaiah Naidu's select parliamentary speeches and articles. The book has been jointly compiled by Union Minister of State for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Rajiv Prasad Rudy, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi and Lok Sabha MP Dr. Khambapati Haribabu. Speaking at the event, Union Ministers Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi and Rajiv Pratap Rudy described Naidu as a common man's politician with the cause of farmers and poor close. Rudy said that the book will lend insights into various aspects of Indian politics. The second and third volumes of the book were released by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the 4th of August. The first volume was published in 2006.
जब उनको मौका मिला तो चाहे रूरल डेवलपमेंट मिनिस्टर थे तो उन्होंने प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क योजना शुरू कर दी। उसके बाद उनको और रिस्पांसिबिलिटी मिली। जब अर्बन डेवलपमेंट मिनिस्टर हुए तो भी उनका फोकस उस गरीब तक गया। अगर उन्होंने स्मार्ट सिटी की बात करी तो उन इलाकों के लिए सोच कर करी कि जहां पर गरीब रहता है उसकी ज़िंदगी को कैसे आसान बनाया जा सके, उसकी ज़िंदगी में कैसे बड़ा परिवर्तन और क्रांतिकारी परिवर्तन लाया जा सके।
मुझे लगता है कि 2 दशक में किसी भी विषय पर अगर इनपुट्स प्राप्त करना हो तो ये 2 पुस्तक वॉल्यूम 2 और वॉल्यूम 3 अपने आप में राजनीतिक रूप से पर्याप्त है।
And with the fights over the real party claims in the JDU, the Bihar Chief Minister and Party President Nitish Kumar-led faction will today hold a day-long national executive meeting. in Patna, where the party will endorse the decision to form the state government with BJP support. It will also pave the way for the JDU to become part of the NDA. The JDU meeting is likely to strengthen Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's grip over his party and enable him to independently handle JDU's relations with its new ally BJP, not only in the state but also at the national level. The meet is also likely to see the suspension of its former party president Sharad Yadav. Nitish Kumar formed the new government in Bihar in alliance with the BJP, following which the JDU has seen rebellion from Sharad Yadav and a few senior leaders, including Rajya Sabha MP Ali Anwar. JDU has already placed 21 leaders from its Bihar unit under suspension for participating in Bihar tour Jan Chetna Yatra of Sharad Yadav.
मुझे इस पर कुछ नहीं कहना।
Sharad Yadav will hold a Jan Adalat at SK Memorial Hall in Bihar capital with what he says are the real JDU members. The move aims to highlight how Nitish Kumar has shown disregard to the mandate of the 2015 assembly polls. Yadav's meeting is being seen as yet another show of strength after the opposition meeting in Delhi on Thursday. And the drama continues in the state of Tamil Nadu with the much talked about merger between the OPS and the EPS factions of the AIADMK. The marathon deliberations that began on Friday have made no headway. With rebel leader O. Pannirselvam held consultations with his loyalists, Chief Minister E. Palaniswamy held marathon talks with his cabinet colleagues. OPS-led faction has demanded an immediate expulsion of jail party General Secretary V.K. Sasikala and her kin, including Deputy General Secretary T.T.V. Dinakaran. The two factions came to each other after Tamil Nadu government announced a probe into the death of late J. Jayalalitha.
Our slogan is on an OPS. Our motto, our slogan is in Tamil, Dharmam Nichayam Vellum. This is Dharma Yuddham. Actually, an OPS has won that. Whatever we have asked for and whatever we have not asked for, everything now our Honorable Chief Minister Edan Edapadi has done, has announced. I think everything will go on well.
A news from the international front. Spain is observing 3 days of national mourning after terror attacks in Barcelona and Cambrils, which killed 14 people and injured hundreds on Thursday. The key suspect in Barcelona attack is reported to have been killed in the shootout at the other attack site, Cambrils. 4 other suspects have been arrested. Investigators also say that the 2 assaults were not only related but may have been hatched in a house that the plotters were using as a bomb factory.
Spain in mourning after the terror attacks in Barcelona and Cambrils on Thursday. On Friday afternoon, thousands of people gathered in Barcelona's main square for a minute's silence to remember the dead. Among those in attendance were King Philip of Spain and Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy. At the end of the prayer meet, the crowd broke into applause and chanted, "No tic po," meaning "I am not afraid." Meanwhile, fresh details are emerging as investigations continue into the attacks. Police say the key suspect in the Barcelona attack is dead. They confirm that Musa Okabir was among the 5 killed in the shootout at the other attack site, Cambrils. 4 other suspects have been arrested. 13 people were killed when a van rented by Okabir rammed crowds in Barcelona's Ramblas district. The same night, police shot dead 5 attackers, including Okabir, in the nearby town of Cambrils after they drove a car into pedestrians, killing 1 woman and injuring 6 others. It has also emerged that Wednesday night blasts in the town of Alcanar was also related to the terror incidents. Police say it was here the terrorists had been preparing an explosive device and accidentally blew up the house.
Hoy tenemos ya la certeza de que 3 de ellos, en concreto, han sido identificados y los vinculamos directamente con esos hechos anteriores, digamos, con el grupo de personas investigadas en relación a la explosión del piso de Alcaná, la residencia de Alcaná.
Authorities have also started naming the dead. Several others are still missing. 59 people injured in the attacks are still in hospital, with 15 in a critical condition and 25 in a serious condition. Spanish Prime Minister says helping victims and arresting suspects are top priorities.
Bien atender a sus familias. Muchas de las personas, como saben, que han fallecido, que están heridas, no son españoles, son personas extranjeras. Y desde el punto de vista policial, pues el objetivo es esclarecer los hechos que se han producido.
Countries around the globe have expressed solidarity with Spain. United Nations Security Council held a moment of silence for the victims. Rome dimmed the arches of its ancient Colosseum as a mark of respect for those killed and injured. And New York's World Trade Center illuminated in colors of the Spanish flag. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And 2 people have been killed and at least 8 others wounded in a stabbing in Finland's Turku city. Police have taken the accused into custody. It warned people to stay away from the city and reinforced security nationwide with increased patrols and more surveillance. The reason behind the attack is not yet known. Police is investigating the attack. The stabbing comes at a time when Europe is on high alert after Spain attack which killed 14 people and injured 100 others.
Olemme tänä iltana täällä selvittämässä tätä asiaa. Valitettavasti kaikkia yksityiskohtia emme ole vielä saaneet selville. Esimerkiksi tämän henkilön henkilöllisyyttä ei ole pystytty vielä varmistamaan. Meillä on täällä käytössä paljon ihmisiä ja tämä tutkinta jatkuu. Suojelupoliisi on selvittämässä, että löytyykö tätä henkilöä jostain rekistereistä.
And that's all we have for you in this edition of Breakfast News. Keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.